Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Daily Nuggets. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I do hope that you are rejoicing and being glad in it. Today, we're going to be focusing on the topic, the fear of the Lord. And we're going to be looking at Proverbs 1 verse 7, which says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." So, whether you're eating breakfast or you are getting ready for work or you're at work, turn up that volume and listen to what God has to say to you today. The fear of the Lord. Now, lots of us often hear this scripture verse, and let's be honest, at first we thought about fear as being very afraid of God. However, as you progress in the Christian faith, you get to understand that fear is more of being in awe of God and who He is, and respecting Him and His values and His characteristics. Now, in the Bible, fearing the Lord means having a deep respect, reverence, and awe for God's power and authority, essentially recognizing His sovereignty and understanding that He is to be taken seriously, not necessarily being afraid of Him in a fearful sense, but it is a humble recognition of who God is and the appropriate response to His presence, often leading to obedience and a desire to live according to His will. Now, until we understand who God is and develop a reverential fear of Him, we cannot have true wisdom. True wisdom comes from understanding who God is, and that is holy, just, and righteous. Deuteronomy 10 verse 20 to 21 records, "And now, O Israel, what does the Lord your God ask of you? But to fear the Lord your God, to walk in all His ways, to love Him, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Fear the Lord your God and serve Him. Hold fast to Him and take your oath in His name. He is your praise. He is your God, who performed for you those great and awesome wonders you saw with your own eyes." So the fear of God is the basis for us walking in His ways, serving Him and loving Him. Some redefine the fear of God for believers to respecting Him. While respect is definitely included in the concept of fearing God, there is more to it than that. A biblical fear of God for the believer includes understanding how much God hates sin and fearing His judgment on sin, even in the life of a believer. Hebrews 12 verse 5 to 11 describes God's discipline of the believer. While it is done in love, it is still a fearful thing. When we were children, our fear of discipline from our parents no doubt prevented some evil actions on our part. The same should be true in our relationship with God. We should fear His discipline and therefore seek to live our lives in a way that pleases Him. Believers are not to be scared of God. We have no reason to be scared of Him. We have promise that nothing can separate us from His love. and that can be found in Romans 8, verse 38 to 39. We have God's promise that He will never leave us and never forsake us. Hebrews 13, verse 5. Fearing God means having a reverence for Him that greatly impacts the way we live. The fear of God is respecting Him, obeying Him, submitting to His discipline, and worshiping Him in awe. Can I say that again? The fear of God is respecting Him, obeying Him, submitting to His discipline, and worshiping Him in awe. At this time, we will pause to enter into our story time for today's Daily Nugget.
Read you a story. Let's read a story. Let's all read a story. Let's all read a story. Story time is here. Let's all read a story. Let's all read a story. Story time is here.
Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. The judge is watching. Buster Beaver's stomach twitched nervously as he made his way to the starting line. Today was the big race in Wisdom Woods. He had been looking forward to this all year long. He wiggled his flat tail and stretched his furry legs. Taking a deep breath, Buster looked up at the judge, Mr. Grant. The great bald eagle perched majestically on the branch of an old oak tree. As honorary judge for today's competition, his watchful eye scanned the lineup of furry little animals.
Hiya, Buster.
Sammy Squirrel patted Buster's back.
Are you ready?
Buster frowned.
I have been practicing my dive and scooch so much, I think I've worn a bald spot on my tummy. I'm sure you'll do great. I just hope I can swim the river today. I think I ate too many acorns for breakfast. I just might sink.
Sammy chuckled as he rubbed his tummy. All racers to the starting line, called Mr. Grant.
Well, here we go.
Buster sucked in another deep breath, hoping to settle the swirling knot in his tummy. Mr. Grant landed gracefully in front of the eager critters. Only one of you will win the prize for being the fastest today, he began. But all who run diligently and honestly receive a prize of their own. The prize for all creatures who are diligent and honest is the badge of integrity. Are you ready to do your best? On your mark, get set, go! The group of furry creatures erupted into a chaotic blur of motion, diving under logs, running around bushes, leaping small streams. Buster hoped he could get his paws to race as fast as his racing heart. He flew around a large bush and headed to the river just ahead. This was the part where they would get wet. The river was not very wide in this spot, but they had to swim across without help. As Buster got closer, he saw Reggie Raccoon grab a branch from the great weeping willow tree that spread itself over the river. Reggie took a quick run and swung himself across the river in one mighty bound. He looked back with a grin, then whirled around and raced down the path to the next obstacle. Buster mused as he considered following Reggie's example. His friends in the water were sputtering and splashing to get across. Once on the other side, they had to shake the excess water from their fur coats before they could regain their speed. Although Buster was a good swimmer, it would be much faster to simply swing across like Reggie did. It would give him a better chance of winning, too. However, his conscience reminded him, the rules did say to swim the river. Buster slid to a halt at the edge of the river. He hesitated. Then, as he reached up to grab a swinging branch, he remembered the sharp eyes of the judge, Mr. Grand. The judge was watching. He would see and know that Buster had cheated. Buster respected Mr. Grand. Fear of disappointing the judge prompted Buster to think again about his decision. It might be faster to swing than to swim, but it would also be wrong. Buster squared his shoulders and determined to do right. Drawing a quick breath, he dove into the cool water and swam with all his might. That night, as he snuggled down to sleep, Buster sighed with satisfaction. He didn't win any prizes in the race, but he did finish. He did his best, and he raced honestly. Yes, integrity did feel like a prize. And so we see a simple picture of a wisdom principle in action. A respectful fear of the Lord, our heavenly judge, is the beginning of true knowledge and right behavior. Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction.
Wow, powerful message in a unique story. Can you imagine? The judge was watching Buster as he raced in the race of the beavers. And of course, this judge was an eagle. I don't know if anyone picked that up, but the judge was an eagle. So you know, an eagle eye, how careful it is when sorting out whatever it is looking at. And so Buster wanted to follow the other animal and of course cheat. However, you know, his conscience didn't allow him to, and he did the correct thing. And even though he didn't get a medal, he didn't win the prize, he went home feeling good because he had followed the instructions of the judge. Now, how many of us today can follow Buster in our day-to-day lives with Christ? Even though not every day you will get a prize, not every day you will get a blessing, not every day there will be a miracle, you know. However, at least you would have been building up your treasures in heaven, where the moth does not destroy and where rust and thieves will not get in. You would have been building up your mansion in heaven. You would have been collecting stars on your crown. And at the end of the day, when you make it in, you know, that feeling of integrity, like Buster, will come alive. That feeling of, yes, I made my Father proud, will come alive. So today, as you go about the rest of your day, I do trust and hope that you incorporate the fear of the Lord in your life today. Allow that fear to allow you to grow in Him, to continuously be what He has called it to be, and to live only to please Him. Thank you so much for joining on another Daily Nugget session. I trust and hope that you are immensely blessed and you go about your day having the fear of the Lord. Do have yourself a wonderful day.